Welcome to the Say Hello to Your Therapist podcast. I'm Dr. Bethany Valenti. Join me as we say hello to Tiffany Graves, a licensed professional clinical counselor supervisor in Ohio and the founder of Blue Gardens Counseling. She specializes in working with people of all ages dealing with toxic or difficult family relationships, unresolved trauma, and the struggle to feel at home with themselves. She is also a certified geek therapist through Geek Therapeutics, which allows her to integrate pop culture, gaming, and creative tools to make therapy engaging and relatable, which is basically what I'm thrilled to be able to chat with her about and share with you today. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to check out the show notes for where to find out more about Tiffany and the things we talked about. Welcome, Tiffany. How about you tell me about what made you become a therapist? How did you find your way there?
Oh, well, that's a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
So originally, no plans at all. Never crossed my mind to be a therapist, ever. Wasn't in the cards.
Wow.
I started originally as wanting to be a graphic designer, kind of an art person, but after being terrified by my art professors that I'm going to be starving, because starving artist isn't just a joke, it's an actual thing.
Yeah.
I started exploring different options and I fell into like the science of what is psychology. And that kind of catapulted me into like, oh my gosh, people are super fascinating and like the brain can do amazing things. And that kind of led me on my journey to wait a minute, I want to help people recognize just how cool their brain is and just kind of like gain control over it in some shape or form.
I feel like I'm hearing you say, like, how do we use the brain for, like, the term that's coming to mind is for good instead of evil, and that feels really extreme. I'm thinking more of, like, let's hone it, and, like, boost it where we can, maybe is more what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
It's like it's a huge powerhouse, and sometimes we
Mhm.
just let it run rampant, and it needs a little bit of some guidelines where it's like, we don't need to spend energy here or spend energy there. Let's hone in where the energy's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another way to think about it is, I don't know, do you have a favorite video game by chance?
Mm. No. Short answer is no. I always like talking to people, though, about video gaming because I grew up watching a sibling play video games. I was not allowed to join, but I was
Mhm.
like, they liked my companionship. They liked my company watching it. So, like, I've really gotten very little exposure to actually playing any myself. I hear a lot about games. I've watched a lot of certain stuff, so I understand different concepts of it. So I've even talked to different people about how different stages of life, like you're leveling up and you need different tools and how you get stuff from different. So I have analogies from gaming.
Okay.
So,
I
like,
just wanted to check just to make sure I'm not like
yeah.
throwing you into left field. But I always tell people it's like you're stuck on side quests. Like your brain is
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I know there's this main quest I need to do. But if
Mhm,
you're not like utilizing your energy appropriately, your brain's like,
mm,
oh, side quest and this side quest. And then you're 20 side quests deep and you're like, what was I actually supposed to be doing? Now I'm freaking out
yeah.
because I don't know where to clear out some of these side quests.
Yeah, and how do you prioritize different quests? And I feel like in some games, the side quests are, like, necessary, and that's where you get certain skill sets. You gotta, like, utilize the different tools of the game because that's where you get your XP, like, you get your experience and you're able to level up on certain skills and everything so that you can fight the bosses later. So it's weird,
Yeah.
but it's just like there are different side quests that you can prioritize for different reasons, right?
Yeah, it is kind of like making sure that you're not getting stuck too far into the weeds of side quests. Because I mean, I've
Mhm.
come across side quests where it's like, take this bottle to so and so, and you get like 5 coins for it. And I'm like,
Mm.
that wasn't energy that I needed to waste.
Yeah.
And
I
trying
would
to
rather have done
recognize
this other task.
in life where it's like, oh, I don't have to do this thing at all if I don't want to, unless I'm just
Mhm.
wasting time for the fun of it.
Yeah. Do you have a real life example of how that can apply to choosing which side quest to focus on?
Yeah, so side quest of doing the laundry versus a
Hmm.
side quest of like going grocery shopping. They're both kind of monotonous and like, I don't really want to waste energy. Depending on the severity, like, oh my gosh, if I go grocery shopping, at least that side quest helps me refuel me for like the
Hmm.
day to come.
Hmm.
And like for the weeks to come versus the laundry, it's like you could potentially fall into that with, well, I did the laundry and like I had other times I could have done the laundry and like
Hmm.
it's done. I don't really know that I feel satisfied that I did the laundry. Well, now it's done.
Laundry is a never ending thing. So is like the food thing, though. You got to fuel
Yeah,
yourself, you know,
yeah.
you need those health points.
You do. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone play a survival game, but it's on some level like that reflects life almost a little too well. In that you're constantly like trying to get food, you're constantly having to cook, you're constantly having to go
Mm-hmm.
out and gather things, you're constantly having to like pick up sticks for firewood. And it's like
Yeah.
there are those tasks in life where it's like, all right, looks like today's going to be a boring day of picking up sticks and prepping food and
Hmm.
killing wild boars so that tomorrow I can go do this quest.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is partly why I was so excited to have you on here because I love these types of analogies so much. And I feel like you're just going to be able to take it and just run with it, even blow my mind with all the different stuff that you can do with it. Have you always kind of brought in like gaming type stuff or other? I know that like geek is the term that you apply to it, correct?
Mhm. Yeah, I first
Mhm.
started as a baby therapist, which I know
Mhm.
that's to some people controversial statement, but when I was
Oh,
first
baby.
starting out, it was very, these are the theories, the
Hmm.
lines, these are the things that you're supposed to do, worksheet,
Hmm.
worksheet, worksheet kind of mentality.
Mm,
It always felt like I get it, but like I don't like this cookie cutter. It doesn't
yeah.
feel like I can relate to people this way. Like this, like it
Yeah.
feels inauthentic.
Yeah.
I slowly started sneaking things in with coloring, and then I found, oh, I can have them make their life in a comic strip and started doing things that way.
Cool.
And then eventually it just got to a point where I was like, I'm tired of the oppression of what I should be doing as a therapist. And I was like,
Hmm.
I'm just going to figure out how to do this ethically and relate to people because, like, I cannot be the only person, therapist or not therapist, that's like, I need something that actually jives with my world.
Hmm. I feel like there's so much importance to be able to speak your client's language, like no matter what that is. And sometimes the worksheets, like they definitely have their place. I think there is very much power for clients when they see like something written down.
Hmm.
It creates this validation and sense of affirmation and reality for something that they're either experiencing or structure and reinforcement of what they're
Hmm.
trying to do. And I mean, depending on who you're working with too, like therapy can, I know there are therapists that really like homework or utilize homework, and there are clients that really like homework. So you like homework, you're one of those. But is it worksheet homework or is it like, hey, like, why don't you try this week? Like, what's your
It's a
kind of
mixture.
homework?
It's definitely a
Mm-hmm.
mixture. It's tailored more to the person. I do have a foundational structure I tend to lean on of like, hey, I'm going to send you this psychoeducational stuff. It'll have exercises in it. Do it at your pace. By no means is it going to be like, we can't do therapy if you don't show up. It's just more of like, I want you to have extra information you're working on so that we can actually focus on more of the meat and potatoes and stuff.
Right, right. It's just the reality that if you're only getting an hour of them a week, you know, the rest, they're living the rest of their lives all of that time. And if there's no direction given, then that can, or at least direction, homework direction, like whatever term you want to use, even like reflection.
Hmm.
So it is possible for them to kind of do it on their own. But I think clients and us like really appreciate knowing that there's more to acknowledging the work that is outside of the room, I think is what I'm trying to
Yes,
say. I went on a side quest to
it's
tell that
okay.
story, but I feel like you understand what I was going for.
Yeah, because the way I like to frame it is like therapy itself is the main quest that we're going to be working on to achieve like whatever objective you brought into session.
Okay.
However, I'm giving you these side quest things to try outside of session because if you're not, practicing and learning skills, we're
Mm-hmm.
going to get to the end of our objective and go like, "Hey, we don't have anything. Like we're still level 2 and this is a level 50 boss. We're kind of
Mm-hmm.
fucked."
Oh, yeah. We've done nothing to prepare for the boss, like really, other than like think about it. You know?
Yeah, we talked about
Really
it. We
halfway
thought
there.
about it. Now we're here. We're recognizing, damn,
Yeah.
we didn't do anything we were supposed to be doing. Now we have to back.
Like you said, level 50 boss. And are we at level, like, are we going to get to level 50 with just the time that we have? Versus if it's just us, we could get to level 50, but probably not at the same rate. And your level 50 boss might be that you have a presentation at work or an upcoming family event that's going to be really challenging. And if we don't kind of do some other stuff to help you prepare, then you're going to go in maybe at level 30 for a level 50 event. That
Which is
kind of
technically strategically doable if you want to try it that way.
You can do it. You'll likely survive, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's
sometimes
plenty of YouTubers, if you want to search them up, where they have level 1, upgraded nothing, and beat games. So it's doable. It's just, it's legit life on hard mode.
Which a lot of the time they're doing already. So you could have done that. And sometimes having a therapist to help them is enough for some people to be able to say. But other times it's like, hey, let's try some of these other things to see if it can give you a boost a little bit more quickly so you could feel more ready.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with cracking some extra XP vals and being like, woo, I leveled up.
I love this so much. This is so great. Like this time. Oh, okay. So you started bringing this in yourself. What type of work do you do with clients? Do you work with adults, teenagers? What's your specialty? I know we're going to focus on geeky and the keep saying it. And I worry that it sounds derogatory to say like we're focusing on geeky stuff, but like that's the passion, that's the excitement. So I'm excited to talk about it. But like, how are you, like, what work are you doing where you are applying it, I should say?
Yeah, so I work with a range of ages, but I primarily have been moving towards 20s and older as the years have going. It's just a lot harder to implement the things that I want to implement with younger kids. It takes more breaking down. And I'm not going to lie, as I get older, my brain is like, I want to do the hard stuff.
Level up.
Yeah, I'm an NPC you hit later in life, guys. I don't want to be that beginner NPC anymore.
And I was about to say, I feel like I've been keeping up so far. That was the first term that just went way over my head.
So a non-player, like it's a computer, a non-player computer in your game.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying you don't want to be that.
Yeah, so like if you've ever played a game and you start off and you usually get someone like, hey, how's it going? Welcome to this world. This is all the information. I feel like that's kind of how I view like more of your child and adolescent therapists, which totally respect the work they do. Like I could not do it long term. It's a really important place to be. But I'm more of like so you killed all the stuff, like big boss is back here. Are you actually ready to deal with this? Kind of later in life NPC person.
Yeah.
But that being said, it kind of varies. So if my client has more knowledge on D&D, which that being said, I am not the expert that some of my clients have been, and I still continuously learn from them because these realms within inside of Geek Therapy are huge. So I will sometimes integrate that when they come across a problem and frame it in the way of like, all right, well, if this was your character in your D&D campaign and they had to interact with said person or had to deal with this person, what would that look like? How would you deal with that on a game basis? And oftentimes people are like, yeah, I've dealt with this in the game. I'm like, okay, how can you cross apply that? Because if you're telling me you have the skill, what's the reason we're not using it in real life? And that one can be pretty powerful. And the other thing is just comparing like their favorite games to their life.
Yeah.
A favorite one I like to use is the Dark Souls or Elden Ring series. And I'm not a fantastic gamer, not even going to pretend to be. But there's plenty of times when I hit a wall and I'm like, okay, I can sit here for hours and like just like consistently die over and over and over again and
keep trying.
And keep trying. Or I can stop and look at it and be like, what else can I go do? Do I need to go grind for levels? Do I need to like find skills? Did I like need to go do some side quests to like help me strategically be more prepared for this thing in life?
Yeah.
And just like that, like big presentation, I'm like, all right, well, that boss is this presentation. How do we prepare for it? What steps do we need to take?
So great. I think I'm also, when you were saying, what else can I do? I was even thinking, do we need to consult with someone who's played the game already? You know what I mean? I know there's like cheat codes or whatever kind of stuff out there, but would it help to do some homework too? Right.
Yeah.
Like the people who are YouTubing or on the streaming service, what's it called? Twitch? Is it Twitch?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Twitch.
not the first person who's played the game. Like people have played the game before. Like people sink hours into this and have done a lot of the work for you. Is that a helpful metaphor too? Of you're not alone out there, but like we can learn from other people. I guess it's just like exploring the different types of resources available.
Mhm.
Like, oh, someone does say, actually, yeah, you need to go do this side quest to do that.
It can be applicable. I mean, it's a great space to get like commentary and guides on like, what to do. I know some streamers will just say, hey, like it's viewer's choice today. Tell me what to go do. And that in itself can be a unique learning experience as well. It creates a really cool sense of community as well, like being able to have that interaction with others.
Yeah.
Recognize, like, don't even have to know who you are to provide
Right.
helpful feedback.
Yeah. And I think to me, it's like that's where we could potentially incorporate things outside of the room. Like, for instance, curating your social media with stuff that's going to be more helpful or reading into different ideas, having conversations with friends and family, kind of other types of resources that could be similar to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like that role modeling.
Yeah.
The Baldur's Gate is really fun for using role-playing interactions. It doesn't have as much variability if you were just doing it, like creating your own campaign, but having people like play through, even if it's just a short section and just saying like, how did your choices based on on the choices you were given to react, how did that impact like the relationship? How did that impact what was going on between those two characters? Which can help them think about what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? What impact could this have when I do say it?
Yeah.
That's in a less consequential form.
Yeah. I love this. Okay. So you started out kind of incorporating this on your own, correct? Were you just finding that like this type of analogy, is it always gaming, for instance? Is it sometimes other things? Because people can geek out about so many different stuff, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it's gaming, sometimes it's board games. So that one's
Right.
a little bit more of a sketch realm for me. Sometimes it's anime where people are like, I relate to this character. I think My Hero Academia is a big one.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one.
That one comes up quite often. I know One Piece is a big popular one right now. There's one of my favorites is Mob Psych 100. Really good to break things in. And then like also like just general pop culture, like the Avengers can be used.
I was just thinking about all the Avengers, all the Marvel, like those kinds of films.
And then it just came across my email not that long ago where there is a training where talking about how you can use the Nightmare Before Christmas to help people process through really difficult emotions related to the holidays and stuff. So like you can if you have the knowledge to really dive down and break apart and make those connections with people, there's a huge array of just like media that can be used. And I have not almost an entire bookshelf of just like The Legend of Zelda, the Dark Souls, like all of them that are broken down into how you can use them in therapeutic ways.
Yeah. And it feels very like specialized because I feel depending on the person, that both as therapist and the client, but I know that there are therapists out there that bring in like Taylor Swift lyrics. You know what I mean? Like there's so much out there. I had a client that really, really got into, this is years ago, BoJack Horseman. Like there's stuff out there that like speaks to you. And if we can understand that helps us very quickly realize like what we connect to. Like I even asked a client, like, I knew that Marvel was important to this client. And I finally was like, which one do you feel like you relate to the most? Like which Avenger or what person in the Marvel universe do you relate to the most? And that was really that's just like so interesting and insightful information. And it helps you know your person that much more. And hopefully they even feel that much more seen and understood on connecting in their world.
Yeah, it gives them something that is relatable to them and it creates that bridge of understanding where it's not like at least the populations that I work with, they're like, oh my gosh, like someone actually gets it. Like there's that bridge that kind of bridges you from therapist to client and kind of On some level, for me, it feels like it dissolves the power dynamic because it's so much like we're in the same realm. We can talk about the same things. We can be on the same page
Yeah.
and kind of walk from a same page level versus that dynamic sometimes that I've heard about where it's like I'm just doing what my therapist told me to do because like, that's how it works. I'm like, it works for some people,
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily work for everyone.
And it almost feels like a time saver in some ways. It's like a time saver and like relationship builder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like a really quick way, and some people might balk at the idea, but a really quick way just to insert yourself into your client's world and be like, hey, like I get it. I see these walls, I see these things that you're interested in. I get it. Like, how do we use what you have to keep you moving forward?
Mhm. It's already accessible for them. That's going to be their line of thinking and day out.
Hmm.
So why would we, I don't know, why would we be like, okay, do this worksheet to teach them something that they may already have a sense of, but like could understand and connect to more quickly in the world of what they're interested in?
Hmm. Yeah, and then that's in a comfort zone for them. So you're not asking them to like, all right, I need you to come sit in this white sterilized square and learn these new skills and then hopefully translate them. It's
Mm,
just like, no, you can stay in your cool vibey space. I'll come join you. Let's
mm,
figure out like how we can make this like
yeah.
work for you.
And one of the reasons I was so excited to have you on here was because I knew that I had seen, you advertising for a number of different things. Like, for instance, putting out there that you had a tabletop role playing like group game. Am I remembering right? And I've seen that done before by other clinicians at different spaces that I've been at and have always just loved hearing about how that can translate. So I'd love to talk about that. But also, what I saw was that you'd shared that you got a Geek Therapy certification, correct? That you had just finished that up. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so it's a certified geek therapist. It's through Geek Therapeutics.
Okay.
They're an awesome realm. They have a Discord server. They're technically based in Virginia, but they just do a lot of trainings about popular culture, anime, games, and everything, and like deep dive trainings into what it is. But they also train you on like how to apply the psychology to these cultural things in a way that like makes sense and isn't harmful. They train you on the ethics of it, the HIPAA compliance of doing like games virtually, all of that nature, so that we're essentially still in the realm of play therapy, but we are making play therapy bigger. We are making it more accessible. It does not have to be sand trays and paint, not to throw shade at the play therapy people because they're
Right.
awesome. So
It,
much more to play than just like coloring and sand trays. And it's not just for kids. Like
mm,
we are adults that also need to play and keep our brain going and being creative.
it's really important neurologically, correct? To kind
Yes.
of maintain play and creativity.
And it really sharpens and hones in problem solving skills.
I love this. So, how long did it take you?
So technically, they only give you 12 months to fit in all of the trainings. So it was a wonderful year of stress and trying to complete. I think it was almost 300 hours of training.
Oh,
It was overwhelming. And then there's two different tests you have to take. I think it's yearly. I have to double check. You have to do 12 recurring credit hours just to maintain your credential.
potential. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're planning on doing that.
I do plan on doing that. The one thing I do just want to be very clear about is it's not like, while it's recognized more so in the APA realm, it's not like the ACA isn't like, oh my gosh, we need to do this.
Yeah.
It is still kind of very frowned upon, despite the fact that it's a branch of play therapy. It's not anything that's new. It's just a newer kind of how play therapy can be applied. But it's not in the same realm as CBT and EMDR and, all of those things.
Yeah.
I know there's gonna be people that are gonna look at me and be like, you play video games? Like everyone does that. And it's
Right.
like, it's not the same. And if you want to know more, happy to talk about it. But I
Yeah.
do just kind of want to like help bring down some of the stigma. Like it is still a legit way to incorporate things within the therapeutic realm. I'm not just making shit up to have fun with therapy.
Right. Can you say more about that? Like, So when you say, I'm not just making shit up to have fun with therapy, like what are you doing? Everything that we've just talked about?
Yeah, all the things. So basically,
like tell me, but I was like, you mean all the things we just said?
well, sometimes when I present it to people and I say, "Oh, well, I use like games and things in therapy,"
Yep.
I've had so many faces of just like judgment where they're like, "So you play video games during therapy sessions? Who pays for that?" And I'm like, "No, that's not. You're like totally taking this thing and like misconstruing it into
That
a
seems like a
huge
leap.
misconception." Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same way that if I was to play Uno cards and allocate each color to an emotion, that then becomes a therapeutic tool to help someone understand emotions via a play therapy tactic. And it's the same thing with games. It's the same thing with worksheets. Worksheets
Yeah.
are just a vehicle to get that information. This game is just a vehicle to help get information to and from my client in a way that is accessible to them and it's
Yeah.
in their world.
Yeah. So are you actively playing games in session?
So, yes and no.
Okay.
So, I have played some board games with people. Emotional Uno tends to be the favorite thing among anyone under 10.
I would love to learn emotional Uno. I don't know it.
And then the one that happen the most often when I'm playing games is if I'm doing telehealth, and it's usually with my preteens, my teens, which I don't blame them. No one wants to sit and stare at an adult for 60 minutes and be like, "This is my life." Like, no, I don't even want to do that. That doesn't sound fun. So I have this that I use called Board Game Arena. They're not sponsored. They're not sponsoring me.
No ad.
Yeah, no ad. I pay for it. The business has its own account that is not linked to me.
Okay.
In my consent form, there is a like, hey, make sure you're using a non-identifiable username whenever you're using this. You accepting my friend request on this platform does not create a friend relationship. This is strictly a in therapy use only. And if you want to use it outside of therapy, you can. But once our relationship ends, you will be removed from the account.
Okay.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
yes, we do. We play things like there's checkers, there's chess, there's backgammon, there's Azul, there's all kinds of board games that we play. The popular one is a game called Bubbly Pop, where it's essentially Candy Crush.
How
Have to
fun.
like shoot different bubbles, make them match up to get the colors. It's just a really nice way to take the pressure off the session. If it's
that
my
face-to-face
turn,
thing.
yeah. So if it's my turn to play, usually I've asked the client a question and they're talking. Whenever it's their turn to play, I'm usually like responding to what they said. I do work with a lot of neurodivergent individuals. And it really helps give them something to do. Otherwise, like the phone comes out, other tabs go up, they're walking around, and I'm
You're like watching their eyes go
yeah,
elsewhere.
like go everywhere.
Yeah, this will hone them in a lot of the time. I'm also thinking it reminds me of kind of like how we have big conversations in the car. You're not having to look at each other directly the whole time unless you want to. You're headed somewhere and you know that there's a time restriction to it. There might be breaks. Like it creates kind of this natural, more comfortable space.
Yeah, it creates more of a humanized space.
Yeah. Okay, so those are the types of games that you're actually doing in session, but you can still be like talking about like anime or some of the other stuff, correct?
Yes. I do have I'm more like trying to figure out the logistics because some of my other Geek Therapeutic colleagues, they do actually pull up Zoom and have people log into games via Steam.
Okay.
But I also know HIPAA doesn't technically change from state to state. Like it's still pretty general, but there are different rules for different states. And while some states can get away with it, like Ohio's is pretty strict about what you can and can't do. So I don't have all of the leisure ability to do some of the other gaming that other places are getting to do. Like one of them that I would love to do is like an online support group for you get an MMO and everyone meets. But the complexities of the HIPAA there is like people probably don't want to create fake accounts because they actually want to keep playing this game. And then you run into the username and then these people are friending these people and all of that. Like, Some states that I found don't seem to care.
Mhm. And it's, yeah, group stuff is so unique. Part of it is that you're able to like make connections, but doing the connections and like having that be like accessible during the group time, like that you're all in group together could create there's actually a term for it, but what I'm basically like stuff that's being processed outside of the group that may be either brought into the group or not brought into the group as a result of connecting outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Groups are tricky.
Tell me about your groups real quick. Like, how many do you do?
So currently we have 0 running. We've only had 1 get through to run.
Okay.
It's just been really hard finding enough people that meet the group criteria and all the fun like survey funneling to like get a group going.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of like insurance blocks and like economical blocks currently have kind of just gotten in the way. But we are actively enrolling. We have like an ongoing wait list. So when we get, hey, we finally reached our people max, like we're gonna start if you're still interested.
What is your people max?
So our people max is 8 people a group. The minimum is 4.
4. Okay.
We're still trying to get to 4.
Still trying to get to 4.
It's really hard in the fall and the spring and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah. And the one that you do is D&D specifically or no?
Yes, it is D&D specifically. It's primarily focusing on anxiety and social skills. It is a combat light campaign that essentially forces players to sit and think about how do I want to manage this situation when I'm down levels or I don't have the equipment I need or I got caught in this situation without my equipment. What do I do? And it helps bridge problem solving and create safe spaces to challenge social anxiety in a small, externalized setting. When people are learning these skills in the game, they then can take them out into the world and see how they work.
Yeah. I love that so much. I'm thinking of examples that I've heard of in the past where just how it's been applied to you're watching people who have struggled with decision making or like I know that sometimes when I play games, like the social influences impact some of the decisions that I'm making
Mhm.
versus like the campaign. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, how could this translate? You're actually seeing how somebody navigates these decisions, or how you were saying earlier about you have the skills, you can do it in your game. What's different about it here?
Mhm.
Maybe it
Yeah.
is like someone might think a certain way about me if I act a certain way.
Yeah, and people have to like when you do these D&D groups, people have to really think about how are people going to view and judge my character if I choose to
Mhm.
interact this way. That gives them that external space to then like go after session and think about like, oh, I did this thing with my character and it got viewed negatively. Maybe that's
Mhm.
not something I want to do and interact with people around me. It's just
Mhm.
really cool to see process in action where people are thinking about how people are perceiving their character based on their character's decisions and like
Mhm.
how they can translate and think about like, oh, people might actually be viewing me differently based on how I'm choosing to interact with them.
Yeah. And is that something that you debrief in the group or like how direct are you about some of this? Or you're just like, oh, they're getting it by osmosis, by the doing.
So there is a 15-minute touch base after each session and a 15-minute debrief at the end, just to see if there's any questions or clarifying things. There is, since it's online, I think
Oh, hand
the
raise. Yeah.
hand raising, if something comes up that we need to pause the campaign for. There's also specific symbols that you can direct message your game master. So if something has been triggered, they can quickly like spin it to away from said topic and that they can kind of like make note of, okay, this topic I need to touch on at the end of the group session with this person, but we need to move the campaign in a different direction before we have a potential crisis.
Yeah. That's a very useful tool. It's fascinating. Group stuff is I love groups. And are you the DM? Are you the master?
So I have DM'd a couple times. It's not really my favorite thing to do.
Mm,
It's because I go way off script and the groups need to be super scripted so that you're not wasting time.
yeah.
My neurodivergent brain at its finest. But anyone that's been interested in running the groups, I have the training to train them and help them run it in a therapeutic way so that it's still kind of like a one-to-one. And I've also helped co-group, so I'm there if they need me.
Anything else that you want us just to know about this type of work, or like how someone might find a therapist who's into this kind of stuff?
I think that's the hard one, right? That's the one thing that I've yet to put my finger on how to streamline. I know when clients find me and we jive on that, like that game thread or that geek thread, they're like, oh my gosh, why did it take so long to find like something
Yeah,
that jived? And it's just hard. I don't know the SEO ins and outs, and
right.
I don't know that. I mean, there might be lots of people looking for therapists that utilize geek therapy and are inside that realm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what people search for.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, I like some elements of it, but we talked about, oh, I've used these different analogies or just different stuff if I figure out like that's something. So, like, it could just be like part of the fit with the therapist that you find. But it's just nice to know if somebody's like in that as well, which I think is really nice that there are some of those. What you have now is the certification. So that's it. Are there like directories for that?
so there is a directory, but the weird part is, and I'm still trying to figure this out, is like
Yeah.
supposedly I paid to be in the directory, but I don't show up in the directory, but my certification shows up like whenever you like search like through the actual email data bank. I don't
Oh,
know. That was a weird one that I contacted support and they're like, "Yeah, you're certified." And I'm like, "All right, fine."
yeah. But it's on, like, you're now able to put it on like, your website
Yeah.
and you can identify it outwardly in that way. So some people
Yes.
might have that, for instance, listed somewhere, but it's not as mainstream, like you said, as like EMDR or some of the other clinical type certifications, like more
Yeah.
clinical
And
intervention
it's
type certifications.
and it's so new.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I bring it up, people are like, "Oh, what is that? I've never heard of that."
Mhm.
Yeah, let's talk more. Uh,
Yeah.
I like want to spread it everywhere.
Yeah.
The other downside is too, some people are just really turned off by the idea where when I say it, it kind of gets that like scowly look and people are like,
Mhm.
that's not actually like no one's going to pay you to do that type of therapy kind of thing. So I think I am unfortunately in a realm where some people are going to be like, this is fantastic. And
Mhm.
other people are going to be like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
And you find your niche population, your niche
Yep.
people, and
Yep.
grow from there. And I think that's kind of the issue that I'm sitting with now is like I'm finding my niche people, but getting it to grow outward has been difficult because there's been so much like resistance of this isn't quote unquote like real therapy.
Yeah. And I think that's part of how clinicians, but society can kind of put therapy in a box.
Hmm.
But not all people fit into boxes. And sometimes, as we know, like our
Not all boxes
identities
are
and
fun.
not all boxes are fun. And people don't like being put in a box by other people. But
Yeah.
I guess I'm also just thinking like identity work is so cool, firstly. And then also, it feels like there's so many elements, layers to identity and intersectionality and everything. So, like, for instance, if it's like a woman going through life as a more geeky person is going to have a different experience as maybe a white male as a geeky person,
Mhm.
gaming or whatever. Like, just that kind of on its most rudimentary thing. But that is still a part of who they are and
Mhm.
how they're going to navigate the world. And so there's also culture stuff involved. Like, I didn't know about Discord for a very long time, and I finally asked one of my clients who was much more in that, like, world of, "Okay, so what is it exactly?" I kinda got the sense that's like, "Oh, it's a server where okay, people talk on there. You could have groups and have topics, and, you could kinda have these sort of virtual chat hangouts." It feels very AOL to me from, like,
Well, it
the
like
you know?
it's so nice though. Like I say that as there's like almost
Yeah.
30, 40 servers open on my Discord. And I love
Yeah, explain Discord maybe for
yeah.
anyone who may
So
not know what
it's
Discord is.
It's this interface. You have the ability to direct message friends, but you have servers that you join. And they're kind of like, if we want to like backdate it, they're kind of similar to groups
Mhm.
on Facebook where you ask to join. Some of them have really strict rules, they have strict moderation, some of them don't. Just looking at this, I have therapy groups, a couple game groups, some neurodivergent groups, random friend groups, a whole folder full of D&D based groups and D&D therapy groups. There's just a wonderful place to like find things that are niched down.
It's like, could it be compared to Reddit?
So it's not
more like a Facebook, you're saying.
Facebook. There's no like posting Facebook.
Okay.
So like imagine Facebook Messenger and the little Facebook groups that you can have. But more elaborate. So if you go to one of your Facebook groups, this server has a welcome tab, an FAQ tab, like a report users tabs, a rule tab. And then there it has like you can go for game news, community news, social news, event news for this game. And then there's just more and more like specified chats and like voice channels that you can pop in and talk to and like get to know. And I guess like you could say it's like Reddit in that you can find specific threads within the server. But it's just more of everyone likes this thing that this server is made about, and then that server breaks that thing down into more like running threads that you can keep communicating on.
Okay. I'm just thinking, because part of the reason I brought it up is because those are things that if you're working with clients who are spending time on there, you'll be like, oh, was this a group message? Was this over text? Like, was this in a hangout? And they're like, oh, it was on Discord. And sometimes the way they communicate on there might be different than if you communicated in person. And so there's just different things. So it's a way to more deeply understand or contextualize what someone's experiencing, and as we know, it's really, really nice when clients feel like they don't have to explain themselves as much.
Yeah, and it's like I mentioned earlier, you're not asking them to come into this white sterilized room and learn all these new things and explain to you all of these nuances of what is their life. You're coming into their world and you're like, yeah, I know what Discord is. We don't have to spend 20 minutes going like, that's fine. I know what that anime is. Tell me more. Like, what gets you vibed about it? Versus potentially going to someone who doesn't vibe and they're, I don't know what you're talking about. And then it's like 30, 45 minutes potentially wasted or feeling of wasted time where this client's, I just spent a whole session trying to explain what anime was to my therapist and they just still didn't get it.
See? Yes, exactly. And yes, there are certain things that I think some therapists are like, yeah, I can work with people without fully understanding the stuff that they're in, but like to be seen and to be understood, you know what I mean? Like, is just really meaningful. And I think that is also dependent on the client. Is it important that they know about this?
Yes, it's very dependent on the client.
Do you have clients that come in and that are potentially like in that world, but they don't focus on, is it like some people dial it up and dial it down depending on what's
some people
on?
dial it up, some people dial it down. Some people are like, no, that's like a part of my world I don't want in a therapy realm. And I'm like, that's totally fine. But like, I just want to let you know I probably will use references because that's where my brain's at. Then there are times when I get people who are 1000% outside of that world. And then that in itself is a challenge for me. Now I have to think of these concepts that make sense in my mind to work with these individuals, which isn't to say that I can't do it, but it makes me recognize, like, if I was in the client's chair, just how difficult it can be sometimes to do that extra work to meet someone in the middle versus being able to be like, we're already in the middle. Like, we already have that human to human experience. Let's just go with it.
I really appreciate you kind of walking me through this and hopefully just letting people know that this is an option of what their therapy can look like. I think for many reasons, there's stigma around therapy. And if this can be a way for people to realize like, oh, therapy isn't just people sitting in, like you said, a white box just staring at each other or like someone like laying on a couch or whatnot.
Some people lay on the couch.
Some people like to lay, but it's not like, the old school psychoanalysis where someone's sitting behind you and you're laying on the couch staring at the ceiling. There are clients who just want to lay and take the space up the way they want. That's a choice to lay. You have the choice to lay in therapy if you want. I love how you said like the white box of just coming in and just being totally blank. I think it's really meaningful to have that therapy is going to be more effective the more comfortable you are being uncomfortable.
And the thing that I like focus on the most with my clients is the human experience.
Yep.
I really want them to recognize that I'm there in the human experience with them. Yes, I'm a professional in what I do, but that doesn't mean I can't meet you in your human experience and we can't experience it together.
Yeah. Well said. I appreciate that. Are you ready for our wrap-up question?
Hit me with the questions.
Hit you with the questions.
Otherwise,
really,
I will talk all day.
Yeah, I know. Same. Where are you licensed?
So I am licensed in Ohio and the state of New Jersey for now. Hopefully the compact will open some things up.
What's the status of the compact right now?
I think right now it's just 2 states, Missouri and Arkansas. Don't quote me on that. It's been a hot minute since I checked my email and read that.
Right. Yeah. I just know people are like, okay, hopefully the compact. I'm like, where? I don't even know where we're at. I'm hoping along with you.
It's official. 2 states have signed
Okay.
for it. If I'm being optimistic, it's probably not going to be 2027 before like things actually get mega waved pushed. It is something on my radar where I'm like, I'm going to keep reading emails when they come.
Right. It's on the horizon. Distantly.
I can see it finally.
Okay, great. And do you have openings right now?
I have very limited openings. My books stay pretty packed.
Okay.
But I do have a running wait list. Sometimes things cycle out pretty quickly. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on people's flexibility.
How would you describe your theoretical orientation?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know because I've removed myself, and this might sound really bad for my professors are listening. Please don't grade me. But since I've removed myself so much from like the standard box of what therapy it should be, the theoretical orientation that I use is more of like a compassion, human experience focused approach that interweaves neuroscience, cognitive behavioral therapy, ACT, in with the play therapy, Geek Therapeutics.
That was amazing. I feel like A+. I don't know what.
I always hated that question because it always felt, even in school, they're like, what box do you want to fit in? I'm like, none. I want to be
me
star.
alone. I know. I want to be a star. I love it. A big gold one. I love it.
Yes.
Do you take insurance?
I do take insurance. I take United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, UMR, MedBin, I think custom design benefits. Do not take Anthem, unfortunately. Sorry for all the Anthem people, but we do super bills for you guys.
Oh, nice. You do what you can.
Yeah, I try. Yeah. Anthem, I don't want to get like shaded by Anthem over here. They might like ground me forever. But
find you.
They find me and then they sue me for slander. But like they just don't play nice. I'll leave it at that.
Just leave it at that. I think that's totally fair. I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So, private fee, what's your current fee?
My current fee is $150 for 60 minutes. It doesn't change for intakes, assessments, anything of that nature.
And you've already sort of spoken to this, but online or in person?
I do both. So I'm in the office 2 days a week and I'm virtual 1.5 days.
Okay. And so, I mean, we've referenced some things, but what do you like to nerd out about?
Oh, that's so much. My favorite things to talk about, even though I'm bad at them, is the Dark Souls games, the Elden Ring games. I just ooey gooey anime, so Apothecary Diaries, My Happy Marriage was a really good one. And then there's some weird ones that I like to watch too, but just like the happy things. I do enjoy like automotive games. There's a really cute game called Odd Sparks. Again, not a sponsor. You literally play like little tree trunk characters that help you move items from point A to point B. That's all. And they make little happy noises when you throw them. And it's just so much fun.
Okay, that's so cute.
It is so cute.
So cute.
And then I do play a couple RPGs, some MOBAs, but not as frequently as your cozy game realm.
Mm-hmm. I love the different types of genres within the gaming world. And I love the idea that there's like cozy gaming out there.
Yeah. It's such a fun topic. If you ever want to deep dive into it, there's so many of them. Also, again, Neurodivergent Brain at its finest. If you're wanting a game, and this is for anyone listening, I do want to put a trigger warning because it is like super grief heavy. But it's a game called Spiritfarer.
I have heard of Spiritfarer that it is and that it's so that it's But that it's like positively grief, like it's heavy, but it's very like meaningful. I've heard of Spirit Fairy. Yeah.
It's so wonderful. The king character, I don't want to spoil it, but the main character walks multiple people through the problems they encounter in life to help them move on. And it's just so rewarding. Such a rewarding.
Love that.
It made me bawl like a baby.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit about certain types of books. If there's readers listening, like Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, I wept at the end of that one. Different stuff like that. Yeah. It like the kind that is deep, you know, some stuff is, you get into it and there's like the cozy, there's fun, there's like the challenging in terms of like combat or problem solving. And then there's deep type stuff.
Yeah. Love it. I love the diversity.
Mm-hmm. It's all out there for you. Well, we've sort of seen one, but do you have any pets?
I do. I have 2 cats. You saw the calico one. Her name is Patches. The other one we have, she's our elder cat. She's 14. She is probably downstairs in the sun, and her name is Mustache.
Mustache. She's probably not excited for the cold
She has
either.
a mustache. It's so cute.
She does have a mustache.
It's so cute. I feel bad for her because everyone that has met her, including the vet who spayed her, calls her a he.
Because of the mustache?
Well, that and because of how big she is. And I was, stop genderizing my cat.
But also, like, girls can be big. Come on.
Yeah.
Right. So how about, because I can't not ask for this, can we get like a picture of Mustache so I can put it on the Instagram?
I for sure can send you an email of them.
I'll take one of your unicorn as well. Patches was lovely. But now we got to know what the mustache looks like.
I'll see if I can get a good one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. What's something that you find comforting?
Something I find comforting. This is going to sound so stereotypical, but like hot bath, lavender Epsom salt, my Steam Deck, and just like dimmed lights in my bathtub playing video games, which I know is really bad and hopefully I don't ever electrocute myself, but that is my comfort.
Wow, that sets a scene for sure. And, you know, there's some truth in stereotypes, right? Hello, it's a bath. There is a reason, like, we recommend them and people like them.
This is true. So, this is very true.
And coffee or tea?
Probably tea. Like, I like coffee, but it's one of those things that's definitely moderation for me because, like, the bitter aftertaste just gets me.
What is your least favorite misconception about the work that we do?
My least favorite misconception.
Or your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet, I'm going to try and not lose my shit, is when I meet people or new clients or just when I meet anyone in general, whether I'm working with them or not, and they've had the experience or they have the understanding that the experience of therapy is going to be like, I'm so sorry you feel that way. Just that repetitive regurgitation of like, that sounds frustrating, which I know some people do, and I know it works for some people, so I don't want to get myself roasted too hard.
Spoiler, I have said both of those things many times to my clients. It's just that that's not all we're saying or doing, right?
But that's the common theme with the population I work with, and they look at me and they're like, please don't. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll call you out on your shit.
I'm going to say some other things.
But that's my biggest pet peeve. That, unfortunately, is a running theme for what therapy is supposed to be. And I'm just like, no. That is puzzle piece A. There's 25 other puzzle pieces we could look at.
We got pieces. We got pieces for days.
Yeah. That's my biggest pet peeve, though.
And last question is, where can people find you?
So I'm on Psychology Today. I have my own website called Blue Gardens Counseling. I have Facebook. I have Instagram. I have YouTube. We have a Patreon for, it's not technically for me, but like I'm on there with my own podcast as well. So I'm out there in the world.
Deciphering Growth podcast, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Based on what you told me off mic at the beginning of our conversation, we do want to specify, especially in the area, there is literally another Tiffany Graves spelled exactly the same, correct?
This is correct.
And just a different type of degree, but different type of approach that is like in terms of work. So if you want this Tiffany Graves, we're looking for Blue Gardens Counseling, maybe looking for that geek certification on there. Therapy, the Deciphering podcast, the Deciphering Growth podcast, it's that Tiffany.
I don't have a side D.
Yeah. Yours is LPC or
LPCCS.
LPCCS. Boom, 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 boom. Love it. Okay. LPCCS. So look for that Tiffany Graves if you're trying to find her. Do you have multiple Instagram accounts? I know there is one for the Deciphering Growth podcast. Do you
There
have
is
a
one
Blue
for
Gardens
this.
Counseling
Yes.
as well?
Out
Just
there.
names out there, websites out there.
More, to be honest. If you want to do a deep dive, but
I'm sure out there. The hilariousness is the proximity. You said that
we're like 5
the
minutes
office-
away. Which is
5. It's not just that you're in the same state doing the same field. It's that you're in the same area of the state, literally 5 minutes away.
just down the street.
Oh, well, this has been a real joy. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.